Hello and welcome back. So, this week on stream, what we're going to be doing is we are actually going to be doing a lot of farms. So, the first one that we're starting out with is wheat, but we also might do a layer of beetroot farm. I don't know why I'm doing beetroots. I'm just doing beetroots. So, we have beetroots. Like, there's no reason to have them other than, like, oh, I got a beetroot farm. We are actually going to have a lot of farms that we do with this. So we're going to be doing carrots. We're going to be doing potatoes. We're going to start with wheat because that one's a little bit different. It should be a good setup. We got our iron set up, so we don't need to worry about that. I got plenty of wood. Trust me, we got plenty of wood. We have our bamboo set up right behind us. So we're going to start with our wheat farm. We're going to go from there. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to enjoy the build that we're doing with it. A lot of this is going to be underground, so like we're not going to see the actual like infrastructure anyway. It's all going to be underground. We're going to be digging a lot of tunnels today. But the build that I'm going to put on top, I think is going to fit perfectly for this open spot that we have behind here. So I'm excited about it. Let's get into it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you do end up enjoying the video. Yeah. So one of the first things that we need to do is go and get our beacon. Now, why do we need a beacon? Because we're going to be digging a really far way down. And if there's one thing we know, it's how to maximize the efficiency of digging and mining. So once we got our hole dug out, the next step that we were on to was actually placing in all the hoppers and placing in our levels. Luckily, I actually captured the time lapse. And in this last little bit here, we are putting in our beetroot seeds. What am I going to need beetroots for? Well, I'm thinking I'm going to need them for trading. How much trading I'm actually going to do with beetroots will be determined, but it would just be a nice option to have. So I don't need to necessarily worry about what type of trades I get from my villagers. Just knowing that I'm able to actually trade anything that they might come up with just so I can get to the golden carrot level. It's a nice thing to have. And here we are putting in some of our last villagers. Each of these platforms has 3 villagers on it. We did run into a bit of an issue of a carrot problem at the beginning, but we got that sorted out. So, with the storage system, I actually wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to use an overflow system. So, essentially, we keep the chest down to a minimum. We have a certain amount of chests that we have that the copper golems can sort into. And just keep it, like, level at the top, not let anything really get, like, crazy amounts of chests up on the top layer of this build. I wanted us to have just a few amount of chests up here. So, what we wound up going with was this system right here. So we have a comparator coming out of the chest. You can see the chest is full. It actually is missing 3 wheat right here. So the copper golems will come in, place in wheat to fill this up, and then go to another chest. And what happens then is this comparator will actually be able to subtract the full value of this redstone torch, which will then activate this torch, which that circle will then go down to here and deactivate this torch, allowing us to actually empty out wheat into our system down below here, which is actually our mass storage. And as you can see, it is simply just underneath here. You'll also notice that we're actually putting in mud right here. I actually like mud a lot more. I just haven't fully swapped it all out yet. So for right now, it's just where the busiest areas are, and these two chests are definitely the busiest chests. But also, our beetroot is. So, yeah. So that's how the storage system is working. I know I haven't really covered the decorations yet, but we'll get to the decorations. What we need to do is we need to put the second story on. All right, we need to put the second story on. We need to get all the hoppers and barrels in place underneath, and then we need to decorate this lower level at least to make this lower level a lot prettier. Because right now, it's not that pretty. So, yeah. So our first step is going to actually be putting logs, oak logs here. I'm going to do that so it kind of looks like the house is on stilts above the main foundation. Just kind of like it's trying to prop itself up because it's not sure if the rocks underneath is really steady. But for this, I needed a lot of wood. I mean, a lot of oak wood. So much oak wood. Wait. Does that mean why am I just breaking leaves in this clip? Anyways. So the foundation is going to be oak planks. There's going to be a lot of oak in this. And the reason for that is because I want it to be a lot lighter than some of the builds around it. As this is a build that's kind of sitting on top of another build, it's really kind of two separate buildings in one. And you can see here what I mean with the wood stilts. I really want it to feel like scaffolding two builds together. And here I'm really going for a barn look. So we're going to have that high ceiling. We're going to have that rounded top on here. And a big part about it is I actually cut this off 2 blocks too early. But once I flew down and looked at it, I realized the mistake that I had made. So I wound up promptly fixing that. And we would go all the way across with these oak logs, which means we would need even more wood and have to go collect more wood again. I got sick of cutting down oak trees in this. And after that, we would go on to make our overflow system, which you saw earlier in the video. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, did you cut down more oak trees? Did you deforest more? No, I grew dark oak trees. So all these barrels were made with dark oak trees that I planted and grew myself. So no deforestation for that bit. And to finish up the exterior, we'd actually go on and texture it a little bit with our andesite, our stone, our cobblestone. We had all different types of stairs just to give it a little bit more texture on the lower section. Break up just kind of that solid wall that we had. We weren't planning on putting in windows because this is really meant to be a dark, dingy storage area. But after all that, it was time for the interior. So what I went with was we put a lot of hay bales in here. I am honestly contemplating taking out some of this slate. If I can get the slate a little bit darker, it's really going to feel the way that I want it to feel. And once we put in all the mud, I think it's going to darken it up just a little bit more and really have that dark and dungy feeling that I'm looking for in here. So, but we got the hay bales, which make it a little bit harder to move through here, which is actually something I really, really want. I need to put in a few more hay bales like where I'm standing right now over there. But I'm also concerned about it messing up the pathfinding of the golems a little bit more, which isn't ideal, but we're not necessarily looking for efficiency all the time with this farm. So, and if we go over here, actually started to work on the decorations on the inside, on the outside. On this upper area, we went through and actually were putting in a bunch of glass. We have the stairs with the glass in there. We have, in our attic area, we have the stained glass all up in there, kind of making like a little bit of a sun. And then we have our armor stand out here with our hay bale salesman, Gerald, who was named in stream. So If you're in streams, you actually get to participate a little bit. You get to name some of the cool little things we do. So we got Gerald right here. He's trying to sell hay right as people come in. He knows that their horses are going to be hungry. He knows that their animals are going to be hungry as they come in. And then up here, we right now have, well, we're just going to call him what he is because you can probably recognize the head. Yep, that's Corrales. Just lounging around. And back in here is a little closet. And the next step will actually be going through and interioring everything we have here. We do have our bedrooms designated already, just as little bedrooms. And then we have some additional rooms that don't actually have beds in them that we're going to turn into more play areas, whatever you might mind you, just for Gerald and his family to be in. So, yeah, I really liked how this build turned out. I think it turned out really well. You can see also here we got the windows here. And yeah, I really like it. I can't wait to get the street lights up in front of it, just add more to it, make it feel more and more involved with the city. But I think it turned out pretty great and fantastic. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to like and subscribe. As always, stay awesome, be awesome. Don't forget that you're loved and that you make the world a better place by being in it. Stay awesome, be awesome. Bye.